Hi guys, it's Nandi. Welcome back to the channel. I'm just coming from the Brayton Hill, and I haven't been up there, had not been up there in a while, about a year. And this morning I decided, to just go back and check it out, and it was fun. So I did a video on that, and so I'm back now. I'm back at home, and I just wanted to talk about valiant living. So for those who are new to the channel, this channel is called the Valiant Channel. Vibrant, authentic living for longevity, energy, and youthfulness. So that acronym is VALI, vibrant, authentic living for longevity, energy, and youthfulness. And if you are on that living, then you are a valiant person living the valiant life. Now, you know that the word valiant in English, not spelled the way I spell it with the valley, VALLEYANT. You're a valiant if you're on this channel, vibrant, authentic living. But the word valiant in English, means brave, courageous. And to take on this kind of lifestyle, it takes courage. It does take courage. You have to be willing to go against the tide, against the grain, and to just stand firm and do what you have to do to maintain your health, to maintain your peace of mind, your sanity, to stay calm, to stay focused. Every aspect of healthy living is a challenge in this day and age, whether it's from the very air that you breathe, to the water that you drink, the food that you eat, the thoughts that you think, the people who you are exposed to, the music. Every aspect of life is a challenge to maintain health. So let's look at the air. I mean, you just have that amount of control over the air that you breathe. We can't all take to the hills, and even in the hills, it's not completely fresh air. I mean, it's much better quality, typically the hills, much better quality than, on the plains, in the cities. But even so, for example, the other day we were having this, the dust from the Sahara. For several days, we were affected by the sky was overcast right across the island. Overcast, no sun, you couldn't see no blue sky at all, just the glare. The sun was behind there somewhere, but you couldn't see the sun. And this dust is coming from West Africa. Now, it's an annual event, nothing we can do about it, and it's beneficial to in the most part beneficial. It takes dust and fertilizes the Caribbean, the Amazon, and so on. But this year in particular, it was really heavy and engulfed the entire island and other Caribbean countries for days. And we had, I think, 2 spells of it. After a while, then there was another wave of it, right? So what I'm saying is, yes, you can say take to the hills, but how would taking to the hills shield you from something like that, for example, right? So the quality of the air is dependent. You can get air that's coming from another continent, whether you're up in the hills or down in the city, you're going to be exposed to that. See what I'm saying? So you just have very limited control over the air that you breathe. You just have to try and do your best. The air quality in your home, the air quality in your aura, just try and maintain that, try and keep that as fresh and clean and calm as possible for you. your little space, your little aura. Try and maintain that. Keep that fresh and clean and nice. Now, in terms of the water, again, not much control over the quality of the water. Now, even if you say you're only going to drink bottled water, you're only going to drink spring water, you are not there at the source. You're not there to see them putting the bottle at the spring and catching the spring water. How do you know? You're taking it for granted. You're putting your trust. Some aspects of life just boils down to, you know what, I'm just going to trust this. I'm just going to trust what you say. You say it's pure spring water. I'm going to go with it because I have no choice. Right? We're not at the source. We're not there to monitor, to see that this is spring water that we're getting. We're just taking it for granted. As many other things in life, we just have to put our trust in that. Right? So you can try and get the best quality water. There's no guarantee that it's quality water. But you make the best choice that you can. Right? In terms of food, you have to be really determined, really courageous, really valiant to maintain a healthy diet. I mean, in terms of cost, it takes a lot. You would think that natural foods, would be cheaper because they have less processing. Some have no processing, but because it's seen as it's seen as an alternative lifestyle, as sad as that sounds, when you decide to eat naturally, you are considered to be having an alternative lifestyle. As sad as that sounds. And you are charged for that. So it's like it's at a premium. It's a status thing, and you have to pay for that status. So if you declare yourself vegetarian, or you declare yourself vegan or raw foodist or whatever, you're going to be charged just for declaring that, right? Now, I live in the Caribbean. I live in Jamaica, and we have abundant fruit. So luckily, most of the fruits, when they are in season, they are fairly cheap. But, some fruits will still have that exotic price no matter what. Like an East Indian mango, which is my favorite mango, that can cost you like $250 to $300 for one. The more, what we call common mangoes, now the smaller ones, yeah, you can get a dime a dozen, But it's expensive still overall to maintain a raw food diet, to maintain mainly fruits, veggies, nuts. Nuts are extremely expensive here. And if you're going to go to the processed vegan foods, so for example, we have there's this thing called Big Frank's, the soy-based products, the meat alternatives, they are quite expensive. The processed soy-based foods, they are very expensive. The nuts can cost you $1,000 and odd just for a handful, depending on the type of nuts. So, a lot of persons start off on this lifestyle and they find that they just cannot maintain it. It's just not, they just can't maintain it. They might go for a week, 2 weeks, even a month. And then when you check up, sometimes I go to the supermarket and I'll be looking at other persons who eat normally, right? Meat eaters, regular people just eat anything. The typical diet. You look in their shopping carts, in their trolleys, and it's full to capacity, full to the brim, overflowing. And then the cashier tell them how much to pay, and it's like, okay, so let's say they say $2,000, even $4,000 if they're buying for the month. All right. Now you as the natural food eater, you have your trolley, just a few items. a fraction of what this other person has, and your bill comes to like 10,000, 5,000, 10,000, $15,000, and you just have a few items, and by the time you reach home and quint, that's done. And you just spent 2 or 3 times the amount of money that these other people spend. So that is a challenge, and it takes courage to maintain it. It takes, your pocket have to be strong, as we say. Your pocket have to be deep, it have to be strong, or you can't maintain this. So you just have to go as far as you can, and then sometimes you might have to just fall back till you can. Seriously, you just have to fall back. So that's just the cost factor. But then there are other factors. So let's say you live in a household, you declare yourself vegan, vegetarian, raw foodist. Now, more than likely, other persons in your household do not share your views on that, and they will be eating their regular stuff, their meat, their snacks, their milk, their eggs, their whatever. And depending on the level that you're at, so like if you're just starting out, you're just really trying this, and you don't have the will, you might not even have the full conviction yet at this point, it will be very tempting, for you, seeing everybody else. You're smelling breakfast cooking in the morning, you're smelling the bacon, you're smelling the eggs, you're smelling the things that you're used to. Remember, food is heavily tied to emotion. You grow up smelling this every morning, you wake up to it, you're thinking these are homely things, and so you attach these fond memories to the smell. Smell is a very powerful thing in terms of memory, right? What you attach to that smell, it triggers these things. So it's difficult to break. And then you see everybody else eating, you might be sitting at the table, everybody else is having that breakfast, lunch, dinner, same thing. You go to work, everybody in the work canteen is having that. They're looking at you, they're talking, they're smirking, they're might be ridiculing, might be questioning every time. Everything you do, they ask, you need to justify. And if you have children, you will come under scrutiny, because there people will be saying, you're not feeding your children adequately. They're going to have issues, growth issues, they're going to have all kind of things. So you will come under scrutiny, and the pressure is heavy, and not everybody can bear through with that. It will make you start questioning yourself. And so it takes courage. It does, to go against the grain and to maintain and to stand firm and say, no, this is how I'm going to live, this is what I'm going to do, come what may. Come what may, even with children. Now you have persons who, you read from time to time these articles, parents going to jail, to prison, because they were feeding their children a raw food diet, for example, and something happened and the child died. Now, children die from children who come from homes where they eat the typical diet, they die. But when a child from a so-called alternative lifestyle home dies, they come under heavy scrutiny. Children die from time to time, and it may not be related to the diet, right? But you're going to come under heavy scrutiny. And many times these parents are imprisoned. You don't go and lock up a parent whose child dies from a regular household, even though we know that many of the things that we feed children, they contribute to their ill health, mental health issues in children, behavioral issues are tied, and allergy and asthma and obesity and those things are heavily tied to diet. You don't go locking up parents for feeding them junk, feeding them snacks loaded with chemicals. You don't lock up those parents, but you're quick to haul in those parents who, out of the best of intentions, are trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle for their children. You're quick to swarm in and arrest those parents for having the courage to say, no, I'm going to go this way. You don't lock up the parents who are stuffing the heavily greased and sugared and chemicalized foods into these children, and they die from asthma. Children die from asthma. You don't link that to diet. You don't arrest those parents. So you see, it takes courage. It takes a heck of a lot of courage to maintain this. And so we talk about the air, we talk about the water, we talk about the food. Exercise is difficult to maintain. You might have a spouse. You're into keeping yourself fit, keeping yourself healthy, and it's a struggle to get your spouse to come on board with that. And sometimes it will literally cause arguments and literally cause rifts. Because if you remember, if you have a spouse, you're thinking you want this person to be with you. You want to be healthy together for a long time. And if you're trying to maintain your health with your diet, your exercise, maybe doing affirmations, you're trying to get them to let's have a session, a couples session in the mornings where we do our affirmations, where we look at our goals, where we visualize, and your spouse is just not into that. The spouse is just not into getting up and doing some exercise, right? It can make you feel like you're tugging, and you should not be having to tug your partner. You and your partner should be at least on a certain level when it comes to lifestyle, right? So you might have to shed that partner. It can come to the point where you say, you know what? I need to find someone who is compatible in terms of my lifestyle because I don't want to struggle. It should not be a struggle. And that takes courage because many people find it extremely difficult to walk away from something, especially if in other areas you're fine. You know the person loves you, you know the person cares, you know the person, this and that, hold down certain things in other areas. So it's gonna be hard to say, well, should I try to compromise and allow him or her to do what they want in terms of these things, seeing as everything else is fine? So that's a decision that you're going to be faced with, right? So valiant living, Valleyyant. We're putting a spin on it, but it means the same as the regular valiant. Courage. So let me say again what those letters mean. So vibrant, authentic living for longevity, energy, and youthfulness. That is our goal. That's our ultimate goal, to be able to live long, healthy, active, energetic, vibrant lives. Not just to survive, not just to be preserved for a long time without quality of life. We want quality of life. We want longevity, energy, and youthfulness for a long time. And that's valiant living, and it does take courage. You have to be brave, you have to be strong, you have to be firm. And that's what this whole channel is about. Giving each other support, keeping each other strong, and so we can be there to see each other, at the end of the journey, to say, we've come a long way, and we went against the grain, we went against the tide, we went against the flow, and we did it. So stay with me on the channel, stay with me on the journey as I go. And this is Nandi signing out.